One, two, 1, 2, need my attitude. 3, 4, 3, 4, check my latitude. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that.
Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. How we doing this morning?
Doing really, really good.
Good deal. Good deal. Nothing super exciting has been happening on my end. I know there's a lot of things happening in the world, but we don't want to get political. But I do know that there's a lot of things happening, and one of those, though, that isn't political, at least I'm pretty sure it's not. I don't know. Meteors are falling. A meteor hit California, Texas, Ohio, and Michigan.
Ooh, Donna's probably excited about that.
Maybe. I don't know. I was just
I'm not sure she's excited about if there's damage from the meteors, but meteors coming from outer space is kind of exciting.
Yes. So that's happening. And I joke that I don't think it's political unless, this really is the end of the world and nobody's telling us the sky is falling. I'm joking. That's a conspiracy theory. I know nothing. But yeah. That is happening. So I thought that was kind of interesting because the fourth one was in Michigan yesterday. So
were they really big or are they small?
I don't know the dimensions.
See now.
I haven't heard any, like, it's not like neighborhoods are being taken out or something, and nobody's died. So I'm going to go with they're probably small. So. The joy of meteors coming to Earth, though, and I shouldn't say the joy, but the whatever is, so much of our world is covered by water, so it doesn't matter if a small meteor or even a medium-sized meteor hits anything. You get my point? Like, it's just going to be in water. And then, X amount of percentage of everything else is just grass, fields, trees. So, yeah, I don't know if it... Unless we get thousands of them, I don't think it's causing any problems. But we are not the meteorology or astrological podcast. We are here to go live and talk about business-related things, which leads us to our topic because we did not stay on task. We're not supposed to talk about meteorology.
Nope.
Okay. And and I say that jokingly because we can talk whatever I want. But the concept that we want to talk about today is having a structure or a cadence to your day and keeping that up and using it with our live here. If we start off talking about a topic, that's fine, right? i.e. meteorology, meteors hitting the earth, whatever. That's fine because it's not impacting us getting work done per se, right? We know we're going to get to our topic. But why don't you start talking about like what it means to have that structure to your day and how it can benefit people?
Well, I know for me, I was planning on coming back to work this week, and yesterday when I logged in, I had no beginning, right? I had no beginning, no middle, and no end, and I got very overwhelmed because I came into work not knowing what I wanted to do or where I needed to start. I was just like, oh, I'll log in and I'll just start working. Well, on what? And it gets very overwhelming if you try to fly, and I do a lot of like, I have a list and it's in my head and I accomplish those things. But I think that when you can write down, okay, these are the things that need to get done, or in your day, if something that I struggle with, if I get that out of the way first, I get done my social media first, and then I go into my, I go work on emailing customers, or I go, if you have that cadence, like you were talking about earlier, of I start here, I move into this, and I do that, you're able to tackle things with the energy that you have, right? So if the first thing you do is something very difficult, your energy is okay, I can do this, I'm filled, nothing's, gotten in the way of my day. And then you can start doing easier tasks throughout the night and or throughout your day. That way, as you're lower on energy, you're getting through the easier things, right? Or it's the opposite. Some people work better with, let me get into work at an easy pace and then let me do the hard thing. But it really determines or is decided by how you work best.
Yeah, and I think it's all about just having a plan, right? My plan isn't either one of those. I have a task list, and if somebody comes to me, and I'll give an example. Somebody came to me yesterday with a thing, just a simple thing that I have to fix for them. No big deal, right? They got to the end of my list. They're it. And the person's told, like, hey, I might not get to this till sometime tomorrow or Thursday, right? If I did it right now, sure, I could fix it in 20 minutes, but I don't want to take away from other things and do that 20 minutes. So my list is completely in an order, and I start at the top each day. All new things go to the bottom, and it's just how I do it. Therefore, sometimes I am doing 3 things in a row that I hate,
Hmm.
but I do know that sometimes I go a whole day with doing all the fun stuff. So to me, it balances out. And it's just the way I do it. But it's coming up with that cadence that works for you.
Yeah, and when you have a list, you're able to say, oh, the next thing on this list is going to be a 40-minute project, but I
Mhm.
only have like 10 minutes before my next meeting. I can go down the list, I could grab a 10-minute project, right?
Sure.
And so when you know where you're working and you know what you're accomplishing, it's a really good way to run your day.
Hmm.
But also, yeah, these are the things that I need to get done in the order that they have populated.
Yes. And so, and there's a million ways you can do this, right? So I literally use the notes function on my MacBook. It's basically where everything lives. And the reason I do that is because I can get it on any of my things, right? It shows up on my iPad, it shows my phone, it shows on my computer, and it works for me. But Google has other options. But I also know somebody that I talked to, it was last week, and she was like, oh, I know that you do everything in Google. She goes, but I am just an Excel person. And I went through and I showed her how to get things like to download out of Google into Excel for it to be something that she feels comfortable using. Um, and she keeps her whole list there. And I'm like, great, that's great. Uh, I don't want that many tabs. I don't want that many. I'd lose stuff. If I
Yeah.
have more than one list, I would lose it. I'd be like, nope. Um,
Well, we know somebody who emails themselves the list every day, right?
yeah.
At the end of their
Mhm.
day, they have their list is going, and then they send it to themselves at the end of the day with a prioritized whatever, and then when they come in the morning, they have that list.
Yeah.
We know some people who have a schedule book, handwritten schedule book of, you
Oh
know,
my gosh.
their list moves from day to day to day to day. Um, and so it is definitely something that works to your personality and to your strengths. And you want to
Yes.
make sure that you're able to function in those strengths and get them accomplished. And in my case, right, like I say, okay, well, I have a list, it's in my head, and I'm going to get it done. Sometimes because it's in my head and I don't always have it written down, sometimes some things get bypassed. Sometimes I just work on things that I want to work on, and so you really want to look at, okay, even though I have a system, how can I make it better? So I can fortify it by writing things down and look at, okay, well, what have I been skipping? What have I been missing? And so you want to make sure that you have that backup, but that it works for you. Like you said, you come in and you work at the best of your abilities. Because trying somebody else's system is great so that you can try it and you can take pieces of it and make it your own system. but it's never going to fully be your system until you make it something that works for you.
Right. And I do recommend, like you just said, try a bunch of systems, right? If you are a little bit, closer to my age, which I'm not going to say what that is, you can guess. But if you're closer to my age and you were used to, like, you had that desk with all the post-it notes, right? Back in the day, Trello might be something that you want to try because it's basically electronic post-it notes, right?
hmm
But if you were the person that had the big whiteboard in their room, right, their office, where you had that whole list on the big whiteboard and you messed with it all day long, right? Then maybe something crap. Now I can't remember the name. It starts with an A. Doesn't matter. There's a bunch of tools out there that that fit for what you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
How you work. And if you're not sure, like right there, I can't think of the word, but find somebody and bounce the ideas off and be like, yeah, 20 years ago, this is how I worked amazingly well. And in this new electronic world, I don't see a version of that. There's a ton of ways to find a version that works for you.
Most definitely. And that's why those were created, right? They were
Mhm.
created just like you always say, Sarah, if you're missing something like in networking or in, then you build it. And there are people out there that have built things to manage that missing piece, right?
Mhm.
So if you're missing it, somebody else was missing it, and it's probably in existence for sure.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
But I think that, the reason why this is important and the reason why Sarah was talking about it is because, like I said, yes, when I came into work yesterday, I got here and I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And then I just spiraled into an overwhelm of, I don't know how to start, right? Or I don't know what to get done or how to manage. And when you're able to have that task list, it's going to help keep you focused. When like, even if it's not a task list, but hey, I start my day with social media, great. I'm going to go into my social media and I'm going to do this, this, and this, right? It might not be a very narrow task list. It might be something as simple as social media. And then for you, social media might mean checking your messages, it might mean posting in some groups. It could be making sure that you have your posts set up and ready to go. There's a few different things inside of what that title is, because some people don't work very well under constraint of A, B, C, and D, right? Sometimes we're a little bit more rebellious and we need that freedom of what do I want to do? So those are the different things that you want to kind of look at, but it helps you to stay focused in the business of what you need to do. So if it's not a stringent task list, but it's I need this, this, and this, then that's what you work on. And it's basically
Yeah.
just to keep your day flowing.
Um, and I do a little bit of that too. So I block my calendar with colors and specific things that I'm going to do, primarily because I am still in school and I have to do work around that. And so if I don't block time to do that, then all the other things, everything from family and kids to work to, just somebody calling me will take me away from that. So I use calendar blocks too, where I literally just shut out the world. This is what I'm doing. Sometimes that's social media. Sometimes you just got to be like, I'm going to respond to all these people that I haven't responded to. And don't get me wrong, I'm talking work related. If you don't want to reply back to your aunt, I don't care. But if you're doing this for your business, then you need to block those times off to have to reply to that and have those conversations.
And that social interaction, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
very important. And I think that, to your point of that blocking, you can still have a task list. And when you come into the block of school, you have your task list that's specific for what you need to do for your home, for your doctorate, right? For
Yeah.
your doctoral. When you come into a block that is meant for marketing, right? You have a marketing task list of what are the things that you need to do. And so that is a very helpful space. And also, making sure you're blocking, okay, at 5 o'clock, I'm done for my day because that's when I help the kids. I don't come into the office until 10 because I need my morning for my sanity. Making sure that you're holding those boundaries of what does this look like for me will then secure you in a safe in your day getting done in a good way that doesn't exhaust you for the next morning, right?
hmm So I'm going to turn the conversation a little bit because we talked a little bit about, the programs that can help you have structure, right? But also having the right technology can do that. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because I'm going to go off on a tangent here that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I had my headphones, these ones, well, not these ones. I had the Beats 3 version for almost 3 years. These things traveled everywhere with me, whatever. About a week ago, they started to just fall apart. And I don't mean like stop working. I mean, parts of them were falling off. Okay. So it was either I buy these repair kits and I try to repair it. And that would have been, I don't even know what, or I got these, like on Amazon, you could get the ones where like the box has already been open and all of that. And so these ones were like half price, but they're the Beats 4. And you're probably like, Sarah, what does this matter? I'm telling you this because right now, this is the longest I've had them on my head at one time. I can't hear anything. It's like a super weird feeling that I'm not sure I like yet. Okay. So like I keep doing this, like, are the
Is there
Pirates and
somebody
Marauders
home?
here? And I don't know, right? Like I wouldn't know. And so point being is even whether it's a cadence or a structure or a new piece of technology, whatever, give it a chance, right? I'm not throwing these out yet. I mean, I would return them before I threw them out, but you get my point. I need to get used to it. So the reason I bring this up is because we all got that new phone at some point, that new computer. For me, this headphone right now. And I know that you've had different, because you like just the in-ear or the over-the-ear like thing. And so I'm sure you've gotten a few that you're just like, it does not feel right. There's something wrong with it. And you got to get used to it, right? And so with a structure, with a cadence, I'm bringing that up to say, don't throw it out if you try it for 2-3 days. Try it for a couple of weeks, a month, and then tweak it, right? Write down what you love and hate about it and then tweak it. But don't just say, oh, I hate it today, I'm changing it tomorrow. I hate it today, I'm changing it. Because if you keep changing it every day, it's not really a cadence or a structure.
And there might be a setting too, right? If it's the noise canceling that you don't like, there might be a setting that helps with that.
Yes, I'm going to look at that when we're off this call. But
and it's important because everyone's like, oh, I want noise canceling, but at the same time, if you're walking down the street and you can't hear who's walking behind you, that is a safety issue, right?
it is.
So you want to, like, when I walk to work, I always have one headphone in and my other ear is listening, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you are comfortable. And if I couldn't hear my house, then I wouldn't be very comfortable at all. I know for me, I can't use the over the head because my ears and my glasses, I don't like. It is not good for me. But I have a really great headset that cost me a lot of money, and a dog got a hold of it, and I'm using it to the best of my ability until I can replace it.
Sure, but again, you tried a bunch of options, you learned what you like, right?
Yep.
And whether this is a list or a piece of technology, right? You got to try things to get them, like, this is just, I don't even know, like, it feels comfortable. I love them. They play music wonderfully, all of that. But the fact that I can't hear things I need to figure out,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to throw it away in just one day. I'm not going to throw it away in just 2 weeks. I'm going to figure out if I can make it work or if I like something else.
Yeah, and maybe it's as simple as tucking one behind your ear, right?
Sure.
Maybe there's workarounds. So,
Yes.
and I think that that's important because when you're using systems, we had a conversation earlier. You said, they like Excel. So, how do you get from Google to Excel? How do you do this to this, right?
Mhm.
And it is that factor of if you are not comfortable, you are going to regret doing it. You're going
Yes.
to resent
You're
it.
going to avoid it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're going to resent it. You're going to avoid it. You're going to not want to be in a position of doing those things. And so look around, find what is comfortable. Make that checklist of these are my, non-negotiables when I'm doing XYZ.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So I think so. I know that we are only at 21 minutes, but we did start this adventure a little bit late today. Normally it's me. Normally it's Buffo.
It was my
Today
fault today.
was Brittany's fault. All right, and I'm joking around, but normally it's me. Some kid needs to get taken somewhere or something, and it's 98% of the time when we're off, it's me. But did you want to wrap up with anything, or are you good with us ending a little bit early today?
No, I think that that is good. I'm super excited to kind of just get back into a flow. So I look forward to seeing everybody. And this is the Keystone Network, where we bring business owners together to collaborate and really just grow together.
Agreed. All right, I'll see everybody later. The 0 people that watched. But if you watched this far, I appreciate you.
Have a great day, guys.